the lightweight division as we have a striker's delight between Rafael Fiziev coming in at plus 110, going up against the striking stylings of Mauricio Ruffy, who comes in at minus 130. Now, starting off on the Fiziev side of things, he was able to snap a 3-fight losing streak that he had back in July, I believe it was, where he fought in his native Azerbaijan and was able to pick up a clear-cut decision win over Ignacio Bahamondes, who was streaking going into that matchup. Now, let's talk about that 3-fight losing streak for Fiziev, though. The first of which was against Justin Gaethje, high-profile fight. I believe it was a co-main event for one of the cards that he was on. I think it was the Edwards and Bilal card. I could be off on that. But Fiziev takes on Gaethje, and unfortunately, Gaethje just had his number. He was able to outstrike him. I think Gaethje came on strong in the second and third rounds after a close first round, and Fiziev just couldn't get off on much success after that. Then he goes up against Mateusz Gamrot in a main event slot and injures his knee in the opening seconds, I believe, of the second round. So he takes the loss there by TKO. So, an asterisk beside that, considering he got injured instead of actually being finished. Then he takes on Justin Gaethje a year and a half after getting injured on short notice. I thought that was a horrible move. Not the best fight to come back to after a layoff on short notice, after an injury like the way that he had against a guy that seems to have your number. And again, it played out similarly. It seemed like he had some decent success in the first round, and then after that, Gaethje really put his foot on the gas in the second and thirds. Fiziev did pull out some of his grappling in that fight. He did land 2 takedowns on Gaethje, but wasn't really able to muster up a whole lot of control there. At his best, Fiziev is a nasty Muay Thai striker. Very good combinations, very good leg kicks, very good countering ability, and his speed really helps him get to the target pretty quickly. It's just tough when he's fighting a hard-nosed striker like Gaethje, who's able to kind of just bonk him anytime he tried to throw a kick and just really derail the type of confidence that Fiziev was trying to muster up. But now he showed a great thing in the Bahamondes fight, mixing it up, landed 4 takedowns against Bahamondes, had some decent control time, countered the long, lanky striking style of Bahamondes, and really didn't lose many minutes in that round. There was a cut that Bahamondes was able to open up on Fiziev in that third round, but outside of that, he really struggled to get off on Fiziev. There was crazy, he landed at a 54% clip. Now, take this into consideration. Fiziev threw 34 less significant strikes than Bahamondes, but landed 12 more because he was landing at a 54% clip, whereas Bahamondes was only landing at a 34% clip. A lot of that with Fiziev getting out of the way, getting a lot of those shots on the guard, just showcases how good, technically speaking, Fiziev is as well. And to see him implementing the wrestling as well, he's really rounding out the rest of his game. Now, he's going up against Mauricio Ruffy. He was looking to bounce back after fumbling the bag as a big favorite against Benoit Saint-Denis. That one, I'm surprised at how many people were confident in Ruffy going into that fight. I get it. He had highlight reel knockouts over Jamie Mullarkey and Bobby King Green. But if you do the tape on him and if you just look deeper into his career, you see the issues that he has in the grappling realm. Sure, he showcased decent grappling defense in the first round and a half against Saint-Denis, but he still found himself in those bad positions consistently and unable to muster up the confidence to let go with his dangerous striking and flashy striking game. It was so apparent in that second round that he was broken, even that when he worked back to his feet, he constantly just backed his way back into bad positions, allowed Saint-Denis to crash the pocket without much resistance, and allowed Saint-Denis to get those dominant positions again, sink in that rear naked choke, and get the tap. I think it was a neck crank as well. So, Ruffy just seemed very mentally broken at that point in time. He struggles a lot with grapplers, and he finally fought a good enough grappler last time against Saint-Denis that we finally saw that hole exposed in his game. You would have seen it if you watched his Dana White Contender Series fight, which he was losing 99% of until his opponent death gassed, and Ruffy was able to get a dominant position and TKO that opponent with 15 seconds left in the fight. If he didn't get that position, he would have lost the fight, and we would have never known of Mauricio Ruffy. He's a talented striker, don't get me wrong. Fighting Nerds representative. He's kind of mixed things up this time around where he went to Bang Tao Muay Thai to train in Thailand for a little bit, went to the UFC PI in Vegas, and now since January 7th, I believe, or at least the beginning of January, he went down to Australia to acclimate to the time zone and everything, and now is training alongside Alexander Volkanovski helping Volkanovski prepare for Lopez, considering they have a similar frame. And then obviously Ruffy trying to absorb when he can from a high-level champion like Volkanovski as well. So I'm sure we'll see improvements from Ruffy's game, but I still think he's that guy that needs to have his space, allow opponents to kind of just allow him to dictate the pace so that he can just get off on his shots and have success. But just watch his fights. Even the James Lontop fight, he lost that third round because he couldn't maintain that space. And Lontop was just on him like a dog. In this matchup, the way he matches up against Rafael Fiziev reminds me of a fight that Ruffy had earlier on in his career. He went up against a guy named Manuel Sosa, who just earned his contract on the Contender Series this past season and who we'll be seeing in 2026 and may be a damn good prospect in his own right. Both guys, nasty, hard-nosed Muay Thai specialists, and Sosa was able to just walk through that flashy style of Ruffy. That was the first time I actually had even heard of Ruffy when I was studying up on Sosa back when he fought on the PFL Challenger Series. I was just like, hey, look, we got a wannabe Conor here from Brazil, the way that I saw Ruffy fighting, right? Kind of mirrors his stance, likes to fight with that bladed stance, like to use that straight cross down the pipe, likes to be very fancy and unorthodox with a lot of his shots. Really resembled a lot of what I'd seen from Conor in back of the day. And he was able to, muster that up and get work back from that Sosa loss, get to the Contender Series and now have a, solid start to his UFC career until running into Benoit Saint-Denis. But now he's fighting a similar guy to Manuel Sosa here in Fiziev. So to see Fiziev as the underdog and the line continuing to move towards Ruffy has me boggled. Fiziev, his durability has largely been ironclad. Can Ruffy land that pinpoint shot to hurt Fiziev? Maybe. But I think Fiziev is going to push that pace, counter Ruffy effectively, keep Ruffy moving backwards, land those big shots, mix in takedowns too. I think his wrestling is good enough now to keep Ruffy on his back. Fiziev has all of the advantages in this matchup. How he's the underdog is mind-blowing to me. But here we are. And this is the spot that we got to take advantage of. So I'm going to go Fiziev here. And I think so much so to the point that Fiziev even gets to finish in round 2 or round 3. There it is. Rafael Fiziev by knockout, round 2 or round 3. Reminding people that Ruffy is more hype than he is actually talented.